Well, thank you very much, Dennis, and in there in studio. And just as you say, the arrest of Treasury Cabinet Secretary, that is Henry Rotich, his PS Kamau Thuge, and some officials from different departments that represented or that were involved in this, in the building of Arror and Kimwarer Dams, has actually sparked so much, and in some people it has actually renewed the vigor with which the government intends to fight the war on corruption. But on this particular matter, it has caused so much jitters as much as it has caused praise within the political circles. Some of them are arguing that this is just but a charade and nothing more, because they are saying that what has been happening is not what we already do not know, and it is targeting specific people. But there are those people who have been very categorical with regards to what the president should have been doing or should be doing with regards to fighting corruption. And there has been noise from Kenyans, and there are those who've been urging President Uhuru Kenyatta to make sure that everything that happens in this country must be systematic, so that everybody gets an equal opinion or opportunity. And one such person is the leader or the party leader for the Amani National Congress, that is Musalia Mudavadi, who has been vocal. And just the other day, he started a slogan where he's been calling on President Uhuru Kenyatta in Swahili, kutoa pingu, that is handcuff all those who are involved in corruption matters. And we really want to get his view with regards to these arrests that have been there today. And we are at his home in Riverside Drive. And Mheshimiwa,
yes,
you have been talking about toa pingu, and it seems like your new slogan after what you came up with in 2017, that is NASA. What do you feel of today's DPP's move to have 28 officials arrested, including a cabinet secretary and his PS?
Well, I think it's a very significant development in the fight against corruption, because the concerns have been that the net or the efforts in the fight against corruption has not been targeting certain key players who the public believe should not be allowed to get away scot-free. So this is a significant development emanating from the Office of the DPP and the investigative agencies. And what I would strongly hope is that there will be a thorough and professional follow-through on this matter, so that the evidence that is adduced before the courts is evidence that can stand the test of time, so that people do not get away with anything that they should not have done.
Now, but there is also this other issue whereby already we have seen political leaders from Rift Valley who've come aside, including the senator for Elgeyo Marakwet, where these two dams are supposed to be, saying that this is a charade and it is nothing other than public show. What do you make of such statements now that they are coming at this preliminary stage where the DPP has just said, I have this case and I will prosecute it in court?
I mean, that is a very strange statement coming from the senator, because I don't know whether he's one of the lawyers that will be representing some of the people involved. All right? If he's coming from that perspective, then it is his duty to try and punch holes in the evidence that will be adduced. So we don't know where he's really coming from. Perhaps he needs to declare that position, that is he one of the lawyers of the potential people who are going to be prosecuted.
He actually said that he represents one of them. Mm-hmm. He is a Kenyan citizen, and he cannot divorce the fact that he is still a senator.
There you are. Being a senator he can be, but now he's going to be talking and defending his clients, whoever it is. But, my friend, a matter of this nature is a very serious matter. You know, to take somebody to court is a very serious development. And therefore, for it to be seen as a charade, you're trying to pour cold water on the investigative agencies. You're trying to say they don't know what they're doing. I think that is a reckless remark that needs to be taken seriously by anybody who intends to defend his client somewhere in a court of law.
Well, with this matter, and you've got very well said that taking someone to court is not a small matter.
Correct.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta, in his remarks, that is when he was giving the State of the Nation address, and it has been captured in one of the stories by our very own Brenda Wanga, said that if you are an official and you are taken to court, that is the moment that you have to either relinquish that power or that position, or we are not going to admit you into government. Is that what should be, or should we first of all assume the innocence of this particular person until they're proven guilty by the court of law?
By the way, it is so clear that they're being taken to court because that is where they have to defend themselves. All right? They have not been convicted yet in terms of a sentence passed on them. This is a situation where the investigators have come up with what they believe is reasonable evidence to take these individuals to court. So they have their opportunity in court. They'll have their day in court to either dismiss the evidence or to be able to prove that the evidence is not valid. So that opportunity will be there. But Uhuru made a statement, and I remember he made it in the State of the Nation address. There was a lot of depression in the nation at that time, because they expected him to make a more serious pronouncement, which he didn't at that time. So it was some kind of anticlimax in the remarks he made. But nevertheless, he did pronounce that if an official of his government finds that he's in court to answer any corruption charges, then he expects that individual to leave voluntarily, or if he does not leave voluntarily, he, Uhuru, now exercising his authority as the President of the Republic of Kenya, will be able to get him out of the way.
So you support that fully?
So that is something that I support fully.
Now, there is the other question of, now that the Cabinet Secretary and his PS are no longer in office, are there officials who've been given the mandate to act as the Cabinet Secretary and the PS when it comes to probably signing documents? Because you'll realize that we're just a few days into a new financial year. And also governors have been clamoring for more money. And probably if this persists, then there might be a total lockdown, not just in the counties, but probably also in the national government.
I'm sure Uhuru is seized with that. Uhuru himself has been the Minister for Finance, and he knows that the Treasury, or the Cabinet Secretary Treasury, is a very important portfolio in the context of signing off any financial requirements. That is very, very critical. So he can gazette somebody to act in the interim while he makes up his mind as to who he wishes to be in that docket. Or perhaps we may be thinking and we may be talking here and he has already thought of it, and he may just directly make a pronouncement about his new minister and then go through the processes of parliament.
If you're given that job,
but in the meantime, what will look more logical is in an acting capacity, and then if he's bringing in a new person, that person would have to go through the vetting process of parliament as required by the law today.
You have been in that particular office, and if you're given that opportunity by the president to probably serve as the minister or the cabinet secretary for that particular portfolio, would you take it up?
No, and I would like to kill that notion immediately, because I've stated categorically that I'm firmly in the opposition at this point in time. There are issues that I can commend the government for, but there are issues that I reserve my right to be the voice of reason and the alternative voice to criticize and tell them that they're treading on the wrong path. Issues like the public debt, issues like the corruption, which I've been highlighting from time to time, and so many other issues. So, my friend, on this one, let everybody know that no, I am okay serving as the opposition leader in ANC, and I will not take up any public assignment.
Before I let you go, then there is the other question probably, that also when you were in government during the Moi era, there is also another scandal that had been you had been involved in, and probably it is a matter that involved the Postmaster General, and is how the president is handling this matter, or how the investigative agencies are handling this matter, probably the right way, probably on that other question which involved you and the Postmaster General, and scandal in which you were involved in. Were you able to finish that matter, or is it a matter, or how is the DPP handling the whole of this?
I think it would be good to remind people, and indeed you covered me on this, the media houses. I was a witness. I testified publicly. I gave my evidence in court. And it is within the public domain. It's just that you are refusing to go back into your archives and realize that that is a matter where I gave evidence. I testified as a prosecution witness. Okay? So it is as good as over. What is important is that I know the matter is still proceeding in court, and therefore I cannot say any more. But from the position where I testified, that is when I made public my position in the court of law. All right? And that is how it should be.
Well, thank you very much. We leave it at that, as we do expect now that Mudavadi has said that if he is offered that position, he is not ready to take up that position of Cabinet Secretary of the National Treasury. And we will be looking, all eyes will be on President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has already said that if a Cabinet Secretary has been arraigned in a court of law, then that means that that is the end of his job. Will he keep his promise, or will the Cabinet Secretary, that is Henry Rotich, be given back his job if he is arraigned in court? Probably it is a matter that we can only wait to see.